attention to the 2020 NBA Finals. Jimmy Butler rocking the house on Sunday night with a titanic solo performance. The 31-year-old, 6'7" man from Texas was in full-on bulldog mode. So much so that he could look at the Lakers and yell, "You're in trouble," as the teams went to the bench for a timeout in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter of Sunday's Game 3 in those finals. The Heat coach, Eric Spoelstra, knows a great performance when he sees one and remarks simply, "How else do you say it other than Jimmy effing Butler?" Butler became the first player in NBA history to post a 40-point triple-double, 40 points, 13 assists and 11 rebounds as he pushed the Miami Heat to a 115-104 win, leaving the series at 2-1. The next highest scorers for the Heat were Tyler Herro and Kellen Olynyk, both with 17 points each. The Lakers were not their usual selves on Sunday, committing 19 turnovers. LA Lakers versus Miami Heat. Here are the highlights from Game 3.
3 of the NBA Finals on Sunday. LeBron James, Anthony Davis dominant in the first 2 games as the Lakers out to a 2-0 series lead. The Heat once again without Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo, but the Miami defense turning it up in the early going. The Lakers had 10 first quarter turnovers, 4 for LeBron James, 4 for AD as well. And Jimmy Butler and the Heat were up 22-9 just 8 minutes in. The Lakers had 9 points, 9 turnovers in those first 8 minutes. But just like in Game 1 when the Heat got out to a big early lead, the Lakers stormed back in quarter number 2. Kyle Kuzma for the lay-in and the foul. And that made it just a 1-point game in favor of LA after the made free throw. Rajon Rondo up top to Anthony Davis, who had 5 turnovers in the ball game and 15 points, not in the first half, but in the game, after he came in averaging 33 a contest in the series' first 2 games. Jimmy Butler, meanwhile, in comparison, had 19 points on 8 of 12 shooting in the first half alone, and he also added 6 rebounds and 6 assists. Miami up by 5 halfway through the second. Later in the second, AD called for the charge. Kelly Olynyk sacrificing his body. Davis exits the game with foul number 3. So Markieff Morris to LeBron James down low for the lay-in plus the foul. And then LeBron working from the outside, pulls up on the right wing for 3. He had 16 in the first half with 6 rebounds and 6 assists. Miami led just by 4 in intermission, 58-54. Duncan Robinson for 3. Then Butler, who assisted Robinson on the previous play, finds Tyler Herro for 3 more. Herro had 17, stepping up in the absence of Goran Dragic. 12-point Miami lead. It was an 8-point game when Rajon Rondo counts his lucky stars. Nearly scraped the moon on this layup attempt on its way down. Off the top of the backboard, a little smoochy in for 2. Here's LeBron splitting the defense and getting to the rack at will once again. He had 25 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, a great line, but a theme for the game, 8 turnovers for LeBron. Markieff Morris, 5 of 11 from downtown. He had 19 off the bench. And then Rondo on the drive, laying it in with the left hand. And LA back from a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter to take a 2-point advantage. Butler, though, would not be denied in this one. Ties it up right there with a tough floater over LeBron. Then on the drive, he kicks it out to Olynyk, and the big fellow who had 24 in Game 2, helping out with a clutch 3 here towards the end of Game 3. Then Butler on the post-up, knocks down a fadeaway. Butler, again, ball in his hands, up by 7. Drive for 2 more. 40 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists as Butler dragging his Heat teammates to victory in Game 3. We've got a series. It's 2-1.
And here's Jimmy Butler, the star, post-match.
I respect the guy for it, but this is a different time now, a different group of guys that I have around me, and we're here to win. We're here to compete. But we're not going to lay down. We're going to fight back in this thing and even up 2-2. And I go to war for those guys because whenever they're out there, they're going to war with and for me. Whatever they ask me to do, I want to do it to the best of my ability. Obviously, they asked me to go out there and win like they did the previous 2 games, and I couldn't hold in my end of the bargain. Tonight I did that. We did that, I should say, and give them an extra couple days and get those guys back. We stay focused on ourselves. That's how we got here. But we're just settling down. I think it's a lot of bright lights. It's a big stage for almost everybody except for Coach Bo, Dre, OG, and nobody been here before. But we're coming to realize that we belong here. We're a really good team, and we can win, as we've shown tonight, if we play basketball the right way, if we do what we say we're going to do. So everybody's just becoming more and more comfortable as the days go by.
And joining us now for the Game 3 analysis, former collegiate player at the University of Houston, Mikhail McLean. Mikhail, we've heard a lot coming out of last night's game by way of analysis. I've heard Jimmy Butler being described as great based on his performance. I've heard that AD underperformed with only 15 points. LeBron wasn't as influential in the fourth quarter as he should have been. Why did the Miami Heat win Game 3?
They won Game 3 because they wanted it more. It was win or go home, basically. They lost that game. Everybody knew the series was over with. And Jimmy Butler made a point to, if he was going to lose, he was going to go down fighting. He did whatever he wanted to on offense, and he made the impact on LeBron James because he defended him the entire game. So when you talk about a guy that wanted it more than everybody else, Jimmy Butler did an outstanding job leading that Miami Heat team.
So why did the LA Lakers, huge favorites for the series, Mikhail, do so well, wiping off deficits twice during the game and weren't able to make it tell? Because you answered just now that Miami Heat, as far as you're concerned, wanted it more. But there were points in the game where the Lakers got back on a winning path but weren't able to hold it.
You know what? Like I said, Miami just wanted it more. The Lakers did a really good job of clawing back. And in a lot of the previous series that they played in against Denver, against all these other teams in the playoffs, they found a way to come back from deficits and close the gap and take over the lead. The one thing that was different that the Lakers came back, I remember the exact play. I think it was in the fourth quarter. It was about 5 or 6 or 8 minutes left. And LeBron James drove down the right slot and he got an and one layup. And it was at this point that Jimmy Butler had just taken his first break of the second half. LeBron scored it. He started like shrugging his shoulders. He started doing all these different things. Jimmy Butler said, "Coach spoke, put me back in the game." As soon as that happened, Miami Heat found a way to take the momentum back and not allow Los Angeles to take the momentum. Los Angeles got the score. They got up within one. The Los Angeles went up one when Rajon Rondo made a layup. And then the Heat just continued to fight back, claw back. And they had a lot of guys that made really, really big key plays, from Duncan Robinson to Tyler Hero to Myers Leonard, a guy that had been a no-show in the playoffs. And Myers Leonard and Kelly Olynyk played tremendous minutes at the 5 spot for Bam Adebayo's absence.
All right, the narrative going into Game 4 Tuesday, Mikhail, is that the series is now kept alive. The series is alive. Is it really alive, or this is where the Lakers wake up and say, okay, let's play now. Let's close out the series?
They needed a wake-up call. At the end of the day, Miami Heat's just so outmatched by the Lakers' size and the amount of players that they have. But the Lakers' starting lineup, they have to produce a lot more. For the Lakers starters, I think Danny Green was 0 for 6. He had 2 points. KCP was 1 for 5. He had 5 points. So those guys, along with Dwight Howard has been awful in that last game. It's a known fact that whenever Dwight Howard's in the game, the Miami Heat are going to do a tremendous job attacking the big. You see JaVale McGee's not playing very many minutes. And when you have a guy like Kelly Olynyk and Myers Leonard that are floor spacers that Dwight Howard can't necessarily just bang with, that puts the Lakers at a deficit because they can't play a guy that's really, really important. And the thing that Dwight Howard does really well for the Lakers is getting them second chance points with offensive rebounds. And Jimmy Butler said in his press conference that the Miami Heat did an outstanding job keeping them off of the glass. So when you have guys like Dwight Howard, KCP, Danny Green not producing, and you're depending so heavily on Marcus Morris and Alex Caruso and Kyle Kuzma, the Lakers starters have to play a lot better, and Anthony Davis can't get in early foul trouble.
Mikhail, is everything okay? This is the first time I've seen you so serious and just, no fun, no smiles. You're just so serious. You're not even wearing your Lakers t-shirt today. What happened?
There you go, Mariah. You know what? I want it to be all business because that's what the Lakers are going to do next time. It's going to be a business. It's going to be a business approach. LeBron and them going to have their nice suits in. They're not going to be doing all the showboating. But all jokes aside, the Lakers, like I said from the start of the playoffs, the Lakers are a really good team, but they are tremendous front runners. When things are going well, They're all smiles. The bench are doing a lot. But whenever adversity hits, they don't really do a good job responding throughout the game. I'm looking forward to seeing the Lakers respond to the loss and get punched in the mouth and coming out really, really intense in this next game.
Jimmy Butler is the fourth player to have a triple-double against LeBron. You know what happened to all the other players that got a triple-double against LeBron? They went on to win. Do you see that happening? And can Jimmy Butler keep that energy going into the next game? How much energy can this one player just have?
Right, that's a great question. Jimmy Butler's going to have his hands filled because it's not only about what he's doing on offense, guys. He's defending LeBron James on the other side of the floor the entire game. So he's going to need a lot of help. Look for the Los Angeles Lakers to shift their game plan. Jimmy Butler really hurt them, but he didn't make one three-point basket against them. So look for the Los Angeles Lakers to gap Jimmy Butler and force him to be more of a playmaker because every single time he wanted to, he got to his right hand. And you're going to see the Lakers really focus on keeping Jimmy Butler out of the paint and keeping him off of his right hand. And they're going to force guys like Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero to beat them from outside. And they're going to just have to make open shots like they normally do.
All right. Would you say that the amount of turnovers that the Lakers had cost them the game, or was it just the lack of as you said, wanting it more than the Miami Heat?
Combination of both. LeBron James had a lot of key turnovers. The Miami Heat did something different with their defense. LeBron James normally has Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson's man come and set the screen so he can get the switch. And Miami Heat shifted their defense. They had Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero almost flat hedge the screen and then get back so Jimmy Butler could stay attached. And that really confused LeBron. He had a little bit of success, but you saw Jimmy Butler poke the ball from behind. Guys were hitting it off his hand, and it really stopped LeBron James from getting wide open kicks to guys to make open shots. So look for the Los Angeles Lakers to shift their game plan to allow LeBron James to continue to be aggressive, but to continue to allow other guys to get open baskets. So I think they need to clean up their game plan. Anthony Davis has to show up. He cannot get early foul calls.
Well, Mikhail, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Maybe the next time when we have a conversation, you'll be happy again.
Mood, and I will not be wearing this jersey until the Los Angeles Lakers close it out. So I'll be strictly this until they close it out.
You do that, Mikhail. Well, thank you again. Of course,
bye, guys.
Mikhail McLean there, our NBA analyst. As we go to the break, remember to catch the premiere episode 2 of Season 2 of Calypso Cricket on SportsMax at 8 p.m. 9 ECT. The match being featured is the second test between West Indies and Pakistan at Kensington Oval from the year 2000. Ramnaresh Sarwan, at just 19 years old, made his debut, plus see a Courtney Wall special with the bat and a great knock from Jamaican left-hander Wavell Hines. Pakistan had an all-star lineup with the likes of Wasim Akram, Yunus Khan, Yusuf Yohana, later known as Mohammed Yusuf, Inzaman ul Haq, and Yunus Khan. Let's take a break.
Says, give me the ball. Butler the drive, the runner, he banks it in. Oh, what a masterpiece from Jimmy Butler. And the Heat go up by 9 with 1:13 remaining. And I think he's saying they're in trouble. Very interesting. Just gets Marquise Morris back paddling. Takes a bump and finishes it.
Everything we do is on